Well, this is like super exciting. This is like a blast from the past, literally. It's not even Margo, it's the Margo from downtown lore and fame. You keep trying to get out of downtown, but you keep getting pulled back in.
Oh, you flatter me, Tom. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, currently you're with the Tucson Police Department, correct?
Yes, sir. Like life is a journey, right? You never know what direction things are going to go in, but life is good.
But you're like community connections and engagement, correct?
Yes.
So you sort of bridge the communication gap and
Exactly.
translate police language into English and that type of thing.
Just, build bridges of trust and communication. I run our volunteer program, all, special events. Back in the day, and one of the things I think I'm most proud of with Hydra over our 23 years is the sense of community we created.
Yeah.
All the youth that we mentored. I remember during our liquidation, all these young kids, they were kids when we opened, came back in their 30s to introduced me to their families. So that was so great. And of course, we were all very involved in the community and networking and collaboration. So really, when I closed Hydra, I was really unemployed for the first time since I was probably 11 years old and babysitting. And it's that sense of wanting to connect the community and still try and do good that led me to that job at the Tucson Police Department.
Well, you weren't unemployed very long. I think they snatched you up pretty quickly. But let's take the step back to Hydra and explain what that is, because some people may not know. There's probably one or two people that don't know what Hydra is, even though I think you could probably just open the doors back up and move right in. But tell us about your shop.
So I opened Hydra Leather More at the time in November of 94. And if you think back to 94, it was Madonna, it was latex leather. It was a really fun shop. And I'm a native Tucsonan, and I was living out of state, but I was seeing that there was a need for just something to sort of shake things up a little bit. So we opened in 94. And of course, like any other clothing store business, you're constantly growing, you're constantly morphing, you're changing, especially in retail, right?
Right.
You're actually, with a small business, we're trying to actually set the trends, not necessarily follow them. So there's just an ebb and flow and a change in what you carry and so forth. And so we were on the corner of 6th Avenue and Congress for 23 years. We had our second shop in Rome, Italy for 14 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my brother Joe lived in Italy, and it was quite successful because if you think of Rome, they're very high fashion, right? So you could just imagine something a little more edgy. It went over very well. He decided to sell. He moved back here, joined forces with me. We opened our third shop in Bisbee, which
That's
was
the one I knew about.
Tons and tons of fun. And then it was 2017, and I was just getting a little restless and sort of wanted to do something else. And my brother didn't want to take over. He wanted to move back to Chicago. So it was time for the next chapter and to do something else. But very proud, ended up calling it Hydra. Just very proud of Hydra, very proud of the work we did with the community, very proud of, if I may, my work with the Merchants Association, and trying the best I could to be a champion for small business downtown.
Well, when I launched this podcast in October of 2017, I don't know if you remember, but you were episode number 7. Like, you got to talk to Margo, which I think that was in 2017. So I'm pretty sure after you interviewed with me, you're like, yeah, I think I'm done. I'm getting out. I don't know what I said in that interview, but we had talked about the streetcar and the great things that were coming, but the challenges of getting there, and the small businesses that were challenged and hurt through the lack of business and the construction and all of that. And so when we had that interview, and then you announced that you were going to be closing at the end of that year, it was like she made it. Like, that, she got through the hardest parts of downtown. She got through the early years, the rebuilding, the streetcar. She made through everything, and now it's like the heyday. It's like, it's too easy.
Well, 23 years is a good long time.
I get it, yeah.
And I will say this, because I have to give a shout out to the 90s, because when people see downtown right now, what they don't understand, and obviously there were those before me also, But when I opened 1994, boy, we had such a group downtown. The Oserans, the Flores family, the Scallengers, right? I mean, the Chicago store, there was so much going on downtown. There was a lot of retail, and we were this cohesive group of warriors, just sort of fighting it out to create something. But I think we created a real sense of place,
Yeah.
and we were an absolute family, and that lasted a good long time in the 90s. And then again, after 23 years, it's interesting because life just takes turns, and again, ebb and flow, ups and downs, and we had such a good run with Hydra. But something just told me, I think there's a beauty of knowing when to say when, right?
Sure.
And we were so lucky because after our run, we were able to go out, not necessarily on top, but doing pretty well, right? And go out on our terms.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you think about it, Tom, so we closed December 31st of 2017. Could you have imagined Hydra during COVID? We would, for those of you who aren't familiar, I think our shop space was about 1,800 square feet of dresses and shoes and shirts in it, and lots of merchandise. And if we had to shut the doors and all of a sudden people wouldn't be able to get to us, I don't know what we would have done. And sadly, I know a few business owners that went out of business, that were forced out of business because of COVID, and that made me sad. But
Well, it's all hypothetical, but I bet you would have found a way to make it that you're not thinking of because you're not in the moment. You would have had something fun going on there.
well, I appreciate that, and I absolutely appreciate you always being a cheerleader for downtown. You brought up the streetcar, and we were really lucky when the streetcar and all of that happened, because we had, I think, 16 or 17 years under our belt. We were pretty well known, and the way all that played out with downtown literally being shut off from everything, you really had to, our public came out to support us.
Yeah.
You really counted on those that wanted you to stick around to come out and find you. And people did, not just me, but downtown. People continued to make it downtown.
I don't really need any more leather or boots, but I am going to go buy some from Hydra.
I'm just going to buy something from Margo and Joe because we want them to stick around. But that, we could talk. The streetcar with Margo could be a whole nother podcast.
Well, that's
in
what I'm
and of
saying.
itself.
Margo should have your own show. I don't know why I'm asking the questions here. You got all the connections. But let's fast forward because we've got a huge event coming up here again. And when we ran into each other, I don't even remember where, and you mentioned, oh yeah, I'm working with the Arizona International Film Festival, and I don't say my jaw dropped, but I did a double take. Like, wait a minute, I thought you were sort of like transitioning out, but they pull you back in. Is that how it goes?
You know what? When downtown's in your blood, it never goes away.
It never goes away, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, when you love the people that are downtown, that never goes away. Yeah. And I still am very close with Richard and Shayna Oseran. In fact, my brother Joe and I redid the furniture in their lobby about 3 weeks ago, just because I was having lunch with Shayna. I said, we need to redo the furniture in here, right? Because that's what you do when you're family. Claudia and Julia.
I tried that once and they kicked me out. I was like, let's move this around and do this, and like, get out.
Yeah, stop it,
get
Tom.
out.
Just stop.
So I guess you got to be known first before you do that.
Claudia and Julio were a few doors down from me, right, at the screening room. And so we were very close, and we're still very close. My schedule and my heavy lift at Tucson Police Department keeps me pretty busy. But again, I've got my sidelines, right, and I've tried to help in little ways with the film festival. This year, I talked to Claudia and Julie, and I said, look, with the time I have, how can I help? So I'm very, very proud. This is the 33rd year of the Arizona International Film Festival, and it is, like so many other amazing events in Tucson, kind of a best-kept secret. Tucson's interesting, right? Because it's a big, small city, town, but sometimes it's just really hard to get the word out about things. 33 years, the film festival has been downtown. The screening room is still going. Claudia and Julio still have the screening room, and that is on Congress Street and 6th Avenue. So I am so honored and happy to be able to help them. So April 3rd through the 13th is our 33rd Arizona International Film Festival. Let's see, I've got it written down. We've got 107 films.
Wow.
Yep, 21 countries. And we've got a lot of filmmakers coming in this year.
That's the thing that
Yes.
I don't think people fully understand. With these film festivals, I've gone to a few of the screenings and a few of, I like the shorts when they do that because I can absorb a lot of different information. But they have the people, sometimes the stars, but the creators of the show there, and you get to talk.
Yes.
And say,
Yes.
I didn't get this to that. And they can help you sort of like, this is what we were thinking. It's amazing the dialogue you get to have after these shows.
And the International Film Festival, Claudia and Julio have built this up. It's in the top 100 film festivals, and it is absolutely incredible. And it has to be a good film festival to draw the number of filmmakers in. So
How many did you say?
107 films, 21 countries. If you're interested in getting more information or tickets, it's filmfestivalarizona.com. So, Tucson, mark your calendars. And we all know Tucson well enough to know y'all are going to be running to get tickets the day before, because that's what Tucsonans do.
You think they'll go out the day before? I think they'll show up on the 3rd. Can I get in?
You can simply show up. You do not have to pay to get into our opening night, April 3rd at Hotel Congress. Super excited it's back at Hotel Congress. 6 p.m. Will be our opening night celebration. Will be followed by an incredible French film at the screening room at 8 p.m. Those tickets are $10. Most of the films are shown at the screening room, the Mercado Annex. I think there might be one or two at the Fox. We have a program that works with students. The filmmakers go around to different schools and engage. It's incredibly multi-leveled. I helped in the most minuscule way, just to be involved. But I'm just so proud to be involved because it's such a gift to Tucson. It really is. And I was involved with. I had the opportunity to view quite a few of the documentaries. I'm a documentary person.
Okay.
And just an absolutely incredible collection of documentaries. And this year we're trying to do something a little different, that we're trying to involve community a little bit more. Right?
In what way?
Trying to get community. Some of the films I've had, I've shown to some different nonprofits. When the filmmakers come, being able to immerse the filmmakers in what Tucson's got going on. Tucson, right? We are the nonprofit city.
We have a lot of nonprofits.
And just to be able to, again, immerse the filmmakers in all the really awesome, wonderful work and great people, and that just get them into the vibe and everything we got going on at Tucson, and then just try and increase attendance for those films and support the filmmakers. And Tucson gets behind things. Tucson gets behind things.
And I know these filmmakers, some of them come back year over year. They've got different entries. They have to be, it's curated, so you don't just submit a film and show up to Tucson. You've got to go through a selection process.
Yep.
And I know it's gotten more rigorous over the years because of the number of submissions.
Absolutely. And once you're chosen, then it's determined if they can make it and so forth. And then we try and make it an experience. We have an incredibly diverse collection of films. I'm very, 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 very proud. So again, mark your calendars. April 3rd, Hotel Congress, 6 p.m. And I'd love to invite you to come. I don't have your physical invite, but I do have a physical invite for you.
We have it on record. I am invited this time. So if I'm moving any furniture, it's Margo's fault.
Yeah.
Now, if I remember from years past, there are some fancy people around town that have like a lanyard that says, I get to go to every stinking movie. Do they still have like the all access passes?
All access passes, yep.
Those
absolutely. And we are on Eventbrite this year, so it's going to make it much easier to get tickets. You'll be able to get on Eventbrite. All that information's on the website. Again, filmfestivalarizona.com, and it will give you all the information you need to know. We make it easy peasy to purchase tickets. You know, you've been to the Mercado Annex, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a fantastic space there. And I have to give a shout out to downtown again, because downtown shows up, right? In terms of sponsorships, in terms of wrapping their arms around and showing Claudio and Julio all kinds of love with the film festival. And again, it's, once you're part of the downtown family, you're never not part of the downtown. You and I are going to be here 10 years from now doing this again, right?
Probably, yeah. I think hopefully we'll be back for the 43rd film festival. I know a few years ago, and I'll have to look up when, but I got Mia. She connected me with a filmmaker coming in from Dublin, and I got to sit down with him and talk with him, and to have the experience of talking to someone internationally, and then to go see the film. It was a full-length film, hilarious film, and that experience to happen in just little old Tucson at the screening room, which is sometimes overlooked by people as you're walking by. But you can't miss it now. It's got like a fresh coat of paint. The marquee is all lit up. It's like it's like, bam, it's glory. It had a couple of rough years there, but now it's like beautiful again.
Oh my goodness, and Arizona is so creative, and Tucson is just a hub for creativity. The amount of filmmakers we have that live here, and the international, again, you're absolutely right. Tucson, Arizona, with this incredibly internationally known film festival, Tucson's pretty. It's amazingly creative, and I'm going to get with you. I'll get you with Mia to make sure you're aware of all the film schedule. We have more filmmakers coming in this year than ever, and so that's really exciting.
Well, they could be all on your podcast.
Pardon me?
They could be all on your podcast.
Yeah, Oh my goodness!
You've got an extra 15 minutes a week you can squeeze in there.
May I plug one more downtown thing?
Hold on, let me see. Check with James, our producer. He says yes. You may.
Okay, thank you, James, the producer.
Unless it's your award, you're the only person. You come with your own swag. Like I earned this 24-year recognition.
Darn it!
So she's holding up a plaque.
I'm going to make a necklace out of this.
That'd be a.
So I just
have necklace.
May I? It's not like me, but may I brag on myself for just a moment?
Please do.
Because when Fletcher McCusker gave me this award, it was a high honor, because I have a lot of admiration and respect for Fletcher McCusker, always have. It was interesting when we were downtown, and again in the 90s and so forth, you had small business merchants. It was a little different back then. You had small business merchants, you had big developers like Larry Adamson, and then Fletcher came in, Carlota Flores, Jane McCullum. You had all different levels of professionals. We all sat on the board together back in the 90s, and we all had the same hope and vision for this wonderful downtown. And everybody was so supportive, right? 2017, I've been out of the merchants meeting for a while now, like you've been on the board, helping this, but I was involved in one way or another with our
Absolutely.
Small Business Merchants Organization for a very, very long time. So Kathleen Erickson asked me to show up to a meeting. It might have even been in this building. I don't quite remember. I showed up, and the board was gigantic. The board was gigantic. I think I knew 4 people on there. And I walked in, and they looked at me, and I looked at them, and I thought, okay, and why am I here? And Kathleen handed this to me, right? In case you can't see it, I'll just read it for you. Margo Susco, Hydra, with our greatest appreciation in recognition for 23 years of operation of Hydra Leather More for your ongoing commitment and dedicated service to the downtown community. Why this meant so much to me is a couple of things. Number one, Fletcher gave this to me. But number two, when you're downtown just hoofing it out every day, and you're just there, and you're fighting the big fight, and it's you never know how you impact people, right? And what a difference you make. So Fletcher McCusker looked at that room and said a few words, and then pointed to me and said, pointed to the group and said, I don't know if all of you know Margo, but we would not be here if it wasn't for her. And let me tell you, in that moment, I was never so proud. Right? Because it was a culmination of 23 years of a lot of sweat and hard work and great times. But to get that level of recognition for me, because you don't think about it, I was like, really, me? Wow. And I keep that, I have it at work, just to sort of remind myself. So.
Well, I think it's fabulous. And I know when you stepped away, there was a void. However, there was also this sense of she kind of got us here. I think there was part of that. We have to build it on what she's created. We can't always rely on that. So I definitely will say that my involvement in downtown and things that I've done started, right around the time that I met you, and has kind of careened me forward a little bit as well.
And I thank you for that, my friend. I think we all walk on the backs of giants, right? And so, I was lucky enough when I was down there, I was with Seal Peterson and Johnny Gibson.
There you go.
Johnny Gibson came in my shop every day and said good morning, and Seal Peterson was at Katja, her daughter, would bring her to all the meetings, right? So they set the tone, and then we took over. And what you're saying is absolutely right. I had such a sense of, I had that moment where I just stood there on my last day in that empty building and sort of went, well done, Margo.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
And now we'll see what's next. But that means a lot coming from you, my friend. It very much does.
Well, and if you want to meet Margo, you can do that on April 3rd.
April 3rd at Hotel Congress. Actually, I will be emceeing the event.
And make sure to comment on the wonderful arrangement of the furniture, because I heard it's been recently redone.
It's been recently, exactly. So, and quickly before I go, I just want to touch on the 6th Avenue Underpass dedication for our wonderful friend Donovan Durband, who was a very close friend. I met Don Durband when he was an intern at before it was called the Downtown Partnership. And so that is Thursday, April 10th at 11 a.m., the 6th Avenue Underpass. I call him Don, but Donovan's family will be there, and of course his lovely wife, Erin. This has been a labor of love. We've had a group that have been working on this. I've hardly done anything, but his closest friends, Andy Squire, we've all come together. Of course, Steve Farley, who did the tile work near the bridge there, he's doing more tile work, and boy, it's going to be pretty amazing, because you cannot have a downtown without Donovan Durband.
No.
And that's what we all thought. What better than the 6th Avenue Underpass? Because this was Donovan Durband's downtown, right? And he wanted to share it with everybody. So please, if you're around, April 10th, it's a Thursday, 11 a.m. at the 6th Avenue Bridge. Please help us celebrate our wonderful friend Donovan Durband and his beautiful wife Erin. Would greatly appreciate it. So thank you for letting me throw that in there. Again, downtown, right? The love never goes away, and the support never goes away.
Perfect. Thanks for your time.
Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you. Thank you for having me.